Good morning, Amit.
Once again for the final day of our module 3, which is system verilog for verification. So today we would like to touch upon the very important topic of a system verilog, which is assertion and coverage. So as a verification engineer, it is expected that you should understand or you should have a knowledge of these two topics. Uh, so we have started yesterday with the assertion that what is the assertion. Okay, so I will just move ahead with that. So this we have seen yesterday that we have a concurrent assertion, immediate assertion. So where immediate assertion follow the simulation event, when concurrent assertion is basically evaluated each and individual clock. And we discuss about this, that what is the difference between assertion and your simple if conditional statement. When I say a conditional statement, then I am actually not worried about whether the output is true or false, but where I use a assertion, then I want that this should happen. So that means my expectation is that this condition, whatever I am imposing as a assertion, it should be true. If it is not true, then it should get a error. This we have seen that this we can write down the assertion like that assertion, and in a round bracket we can write down some sort of scenario that we would like to evaluate. So just to display that how it can be done. Okay, so I think probably we were at this particular point where we start with the concurrent assertion. Okay, so in a concurrent assertion, usually we are writing assertion in terms of the property. Okay, now what I mean by a property, this property is basically evaluated at each and individual clock edge. Maybe your design is working at a positive edge or a negative edge, but it will be evaluated every time whenever the clock edge occurs. Now, it may happen that you have written in your verification environment or specifically in verification code one time, but it would be evaluated till your clock exists. Every time whenever clock runs, your this particular condition which is you have defined as a property, it would be evaluated. So one of the condition that is read and write signal should not be asserted altogether. So probably in a memory we are considering that at a time either we can read from the memory or either we can write into the memory. So this should not be happen that for the memory read and write can occur simultaneously. So for that we can write down assert is a keyword, property is a also keyword, and in bracket whatever is being written. If you observe that read and write. So this is just to concate that read exists and write exists. This cannot be exist. So before that there is a explanatory mark. Explanatory mark that is the meaning is it is for a not. Okay. So this should not happen where read and write both should be together. If it happens at any point of time, then I should get a some sort of message in terms of the error. Now, another that we have seen that request should be followed by an acknowledgement occurring no more than 2 clock cycle after the request is asserted. So again, assert property. Here I am defining that I would like to go for at every positive edge of the clock where request and then there is a one operator. This is implication operator. If I am not wrong, yesterday we talked about this. So implication operator is of two types. One is your overlap type. One is your overlap type. Another is your non-overlap type. Okay. So when I talk about the overlap type, then this is a overlap type. When I put it over here, the symbol like this, so this is non-overlap. Okay. Now, what is the simply difference? When I talk about the overlap, then the name itself suggests whatever it is basically defined on a left hand side. On a left hand side, you have a request. So request is asserted. So at the same clock edge, whatever is written on the right hand side, it should be evaluated. So that means request is asserted with the overlap operator. Whatever is written on the right hand side, that should be evaluated, or the starting of the evaluation should be from this particular point only. So here, if you observe that here it is written hash hash. Yesterday we talked about that. From one hash, it is a delay. Okay, but when I write down hash hash, then I am talking about the delay in terms of the cycle. Okay, so here hash hash 1 to 2. So this suggests that it's starting from 1, it can go up to 3. This is suggesting a range for a cycle. So from 1 clock cycle to 2 clock cycle, I am expecting that acknowledgement should be asserted. So here it is an overlap operator. Okay, so that means this should be start from this clock edge. So after the present clock edge, one delay acknowledgement should come, or maybe next to next clock, I should expect that acknowledgement should occur. So for a non-overlap, this would start from a next clock cycle. So it considers that from a next clock cycle has one delay. That means next to next clock cycle acknowledgement should be there, or next to next clock cycle the acknowledgement should be asserted. So this is just a difference from an implication operator. So this, according to you, of course, whatever is being written, that can be written with the non-overlap operator also. So it is up to you that how you would like to write it down. Okay, but sometimes you would like to start it from a present clock, or sometimes you would like to do it from a next to next clock, or probably next clock onwards. Okay. So for a concurrent assertion, check the sequence of the events spread over a multiple clock cycle. As I said that although it is written one time, but it will be evaluated every time. Concurrent assertion is evaluated only at the occurrence of the clock tick. So this is where the concurrent assertion is differentiated in the immediate assertion. Immediate assertion, whenever it is being written at that particular moment, it will be evaluated. But concurrent assertion is, you can consider, is always synchronous. It will be evaluated on always with respect to time only, or with respect to your clock edge. So test expression is evaluated at the clock edge based on the sample value of the variable involved. Can be placed in a procedural block, module, interface, and a program destination. So it can be written by at anywhere. Whenever you would like to use this kind of assertion, it can be written at any point of time. So again, C underscore asserted. So C underscore assert, this is the name. Okay, this is the name. This you can give it anything. Assert is again a keyword. Property is a keyword. So these two are a keyword. Then this is posage of the clock. Of course, posage is a keyword. Clock is probably the variable that you have taken to just define a clock signal. Then not A and B. So that means what it suggests, that A and B cannot be asserted together at positive edge of the clock. Okay. So I think okay, so moving ahead with this. Now sequence. Now in an assertion also it may be a case that inside the property you can write down the sequence. Now sequence is, you can consider the occurrence of event. Okay. Sometimes what happens that whatever the condition that you would like to evaluate, it is having a multiple event altogether. Okay. So if it is having a multiple event altogether, then what I would like to do it, I would like to break it in terms of the sequence, where in a sequence I will define some sort of event. Okay, let's consider that in a particular protocol I need to verify the 4 or 5 event altogether. And what I can do, that I can break that into a sequence where in a particular sequence I will verify a particular 2 event, and maybe in another sequence I will verify the 3 event. Okay, probably we will see with the example, then it will be more clear. But you can consider that inside the property, you can have a sequence where sequence can be a single event or it can be a number of events. Okay, so sequence is a keyword. SEQ is a name of the sequence. Okay, sequence is a keyword, but SEQ is the name of the sequence, that is user defined. So at the positive edge of the clock, A not equal to B. Okay, now if you observe that this whatever is being written in a previous slide. So here we have written it in terms of the property, but now I have written the same thing as a sequence. Now this can be also valid one. Okay. So ultimately now what you can write down here, SR probability postage of the clock, you can only define a sequence instead of this not A to B, whatever is there. Instead of this, you can directly write down the sequence. Sequence is nothing but equal to this only. Okay. I think here it is A has to B. It is not the same, but here it is that A is 1 and after a 2 clock cycle, B should be 1. So what is the sequence? That if A is asserted, then after the 2 clock cycle delay, I would like to know that whether the B is asserted or not. So this is a particular scenario I would like to do. So in a above sequence, we can observe that the sequence start on every clock edge of the clock and it looks for A to be high on every positive clock edge. Okay. So whenever A is to be high, then and then I need to think about the B is to be high. Okay. So over here, what happens that at a particular clock edge, first of all, it will look for A to be high. If A is high, then after a 2 clock cycle, I need to check for a B is high. If A is not high, then there is no need to check occurrence of B. Okay, because this is a dependency. If A is asserted, then and then after a 2 clock cycle, I would like to see that B is asserted or not. If A is not asserted, then there is no meaning of actually checking the B. So if I want a sequence to be checked only after A is high, this can be achieved by using implication operation. So that we have seen that. Now in an implication operator, whatever I am talking about, that whatever on the left hand side, okay, and whatever on the right hand side, so they are basically defined as an ascendant and a consequent. Okay, so left hand side is an ascendant and a right hand side is a consequent. So implication construction can be used with the property using a proper definition. It cannot be used in a sequence. Okay, in a sequence, the implication operator cannot be defined. So overlap implication, non-overlap implication, that we have seen. Now again another example of overlap implication. So overlap implication is defined by this particular symbol that we have seen. Now if A is high on a given positive edge of the clock, then B should be high on the same clock edge. Okay, now I want that A is high, then at the same time B should be high. Okay, it is something that I would like to check that A and B. This is same what is being written over here. Okay, so this suggests that at the positive edge of the clock, when A is high, I need to check that B should be also high. So here what I have written down, I have written down the property. So this is defined as a property, where property is the keyword, P is the name of the property at the pose edge of the clock. This is a scenario that I would like to check it out, and this is N property. So property, N property, between with this I have defined a scenario and I have written this as a SR. Now A is again a label that is being assigned to a assert. Assert is a keyword and this property is also keyword, and this in a bracket, this is nothing but this property. Now whatever is being written inside the property, that also you can write it down. So here you can also write it down, property like at the pose edge of the clock. So this is same, but this I have defined as a P. So now I am writing as a property P. Okay, this is the only difference. Okay, so sometimes it may happen that you have a multiple property. So at that time it is good way to write it down in a multiple property and then try to assert one property one by one. So this way you can do it. Let's move ahead to our next slide. Okay, non-overlap implication. So non-overlap implication we can define like this. Okay, so here it is being written that property P at the post edge of the clock A non-overlap implication operator to B. That means A is asserted, but now what I would like to do, B is asserted in a next clock edge. That I would like to verify. Okay, if you want to do it to verify it at the present clock edge, then non-overlap implication cannot be applied. You need to use a overlap implication. But non-overlap implication we have used it. That means that we would like to verify that if A is asserted, then in the next clock edge, I am interested that verify that whether B is asserted or not. So here with the asserted, I am writing this. Again, when I write down with the assert something, then what is my intention that I would like to verify this thing. So my intention is it should be true. If it is not true, then it should be displayed in terms of the error or warning, whatever the message that you would like to print. Now implication with a fixed delay on the consequent. So it may happen that you want to delay whatever it is written on the right hand side. That for that you need to define a delay. That delay it is in terms of the cycle. Okay. So always when we talk about the concurrent assertion, so whatever is being defined, that is we are considering that it is in terms of the cycle delay only. Okay. So below property checks that if signal is A is high on a positive edge of the clock, then B should be high after 2 clock cycles. If I want to verify this particular scenario, then what I can do it, I can define a property where a property I will define that post edge of the clock. If A is high, then with the implication operator, overlap implication operator has 2. So that means A is high from a present clock cycle. Now right hand, I will go to the right hand side, 2 clock cycle delay, after which I would like to go for a B is high or not. So that is exactly what is being written, that is being verified. So signal A is high on a positive clock edge and then B should be high after a 2 clock cycle. Now this can be, this you can write it down, okay, with the non-overlap operator also. Okay, can you think about how you can do it? So just I am giving you a 5 seconds to just think about that. This can be write it down. So here we have used this overlap operator. If it is non-overlap operator, then I can write it down A. Then it is has 1 B. Okay, because this means that A is evaluated. Then from a next clock cycle, 1 has 2 times. Okay, has. So after a next clock cycle, I need to go for a 1 clock delay. So this is 1 clock delay, and then I need to verify that B is high. Okay, so these both are same. These both are same. The only thing is operator is different. And because of this operator here, instead of has 2, here I have a has 1. I hope you are getting this. Okay. I think so far you are following. Any remark? Very good. I think some of you have given an answer. Very good. So means that you are following me, but I would like to know the answer from all of you, because I want that all of you should follow me. Okay. So if you have any doubt, then you can definitely ask me at any point of time. Now, implication with a sequence as an ascendant. Okay. Now, here basically we are defining in terms of the sequence. Now, what here the protocol says that I need to verify. Okay. Something which is there in a protocol and that I need to verify. Then the best thing is you should go for a assertion. Now, assertion is one of the way to verify your range. Okay. So maybe through a assertion you can reduce your efforts to write down a test cases, because to write down the test cases it requires some effort, but assertion is maybe it is 3 or 4 liner through which you can find out the same thing. So that's why as a verification engineer, most of the time if assertion is work, then I would like to write down the assertion rather than defining the separate test case for that. Okay, so that is the thing. So now what I would like to do that, so particularly I would like to say the scenario that if here you observe that there are actually 4 events that I need to verify, and that 4 event I am breaking in terms of the sequence. Now what the protocol says that if A is high, then I would like to know that whether the B is high or not. So my expectation is A is high, at that time B should be also high. When A and B both are high, then after a 1 clock cycle, C should be high. Okay, so what is the event that I am talking about? First event is A is high. What is the second event? I want to verify that whether the B is high or not. So that means A is high, then at the same time I would like to know that B is high or not. If A and B both are high, then what I would like to know that if after that 1 clock cycle delay, whether the C is high or not. And once this all together happen, then I would like to know that after that the 2 clock cycle delay, the D should not be high. So D should be in de-asserted state. So that means A should be high or asserted. Please consider whatever I am considering as a high, then you need to consider it is a asserted. Okay. So A is asserted, then at the same time B is also asserted. After that 1 clock cycle delay, the C should be asserted. If this happens, then in a further case, I would like to know that after a 2 clock cycle delay, D should not be asserted. So this I would like to write it down. Now if this all 4 event where A is high is one event, B is high is the second event, C is high, that is my third event, and D is de-asserted or low, that is my fourth event. Now if I would like to put it all together, then it would be, I need to squeeze them all together in a one particular report. Of course it can be done. I am not saying that this is not the way to do it. Of course you can do it. All together you can write it down and you can write down in a property. But probably I would like to split it up in terms of the different event. So what I am trying to consider, out of 4 event, I am considering 3 event together. Maybe you can consider 2 event also. There is no issue. Okay. So here in a first sequence, the 3 event is being combined and 4th event is being written as a separate one. So in a first sequence, how I combine the 3 event, that A is high, just try to observe that A is high. So I am verifying that A is high, then B should be high, then after a 1 clock delay, C should be high. So that means this all together I am defining as a sequence underscore 1. Then what I am trying to do, then in a next thing, what I would like to do, in a next sequence, if this, then another sequence I am defining where I am defining that this sequence, this is a sequence 2, sequence underscore 2, where I am defining that has 2. That means in this sequence, first of all, I need to go to a 2 clock cycle delay, and then I need to find out D is not asserted. So this is my second sequence where I am considering 2 delay clock and D is de-asserted. Here what I am trying to do, A and B both asserted at the same time. Then 1 cycle delay, C is asserted. So this is my first sequence. and this is my second sequence. Okay, so this whole I have defined into the two sequence. Then how I can combine it in a property? I have written that positive edge of the clock sequence underscore 1. Okay. Then the operator is very important. This is overlap operator, and then I am talking about sequence underscore 2. So sequence underscore 1, that means this one I am talking about. This should happen. Once this happens, then I would like to go with the overlap operator. That means from a same clock cycle, I need to follow for this particular sequence. Okay, so this I would like to evaluate. Now, again, the same scenario you can write it down with the non-overlap operator, or maybe with the 3 sequence also. Even you can define a 4 sequence, where first sequence is where you are only defining an event of assert A, in a second sequence assert B, in a third sequence assert C, and in a fourth sequence D asserted. So these can be written by a 4 sequence also. There is no problem. You can do it. There is no any issue. Okay. But whenever you are writing in a property, then in a property probably one operator is there. Sequence 1 then followed by sequence 2, sequence 2 followed by sequence 3, sequence 3 followed by sequence 4. That way you need to write it down. Okay. So this way it can be done. Now there can be multiple way to define a same protocol. So in an assertion also there will be a number of ways. Now whatever the way you would like to do it, you can do it. Okay, so let's move ahead with the another way of writing a assertion. Okay, so in an assertion you can also define your timing window. Okay, that means you can define the window in terms of the clock cycle. Okay, so just squeeze your assertion writing. So what can be one protocol that, let's consider that I want to verify that if signal is A is high on a given positive wave of clock edge, then within 1 to 4 clock cycle, the signal B should be high. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? If A is high, then B should be high from 1 to 4 clock cycle. That means B could be high in a next clock cycle. That means after a 1 clock cycle, maybe B could be high after a 2 clock cycle, maybe 3 clock cycle, or maybe 4 clock cycle. Okay, so if I want to squeeze this in a one particular timing window, then probably I can use this operator, timing window. Okay, so over here I can simply write it down like this. What is the meaning of this? This suggests that the starting from 1 to 4, anyway, in between B could be high. So this suggests that A is high, then B could be high from 1 to 4 clock cycle, in between any particular time. Okay. Now, if you don't use this window, then also there is a way to write it down. Maybe you can define in a sequence where A then has 1, B is high, then A has 2, B is high, that is another sequence, then third sequence. That way also you can write it down. Okay. So what way you are thinking about, that is up to you. But probably this is the best way where you can squeeze it, and with the minimum number of probably the word limit, you can write it down. But however, means it is not important. You need to verify that whether whatever is being written, that is actually able to convey whatever is intended to do. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens that in a timing window, I don't know when a particular signal on a right hand side would be high, but I want to ensure that it should be high at any point of time. Okay, so that means what I would like to do, that if signal A is high on a particular positive edge of the clock, then I am sure that B should be high at any point of time. Now I don't know whether it is a 1 clock, 2 clock, 3 clock, 4 clock. So in a previous case, I know that there is a timing window that B should be high from 1, 2, 3, 4. So B should be high in a 1 clock, 2 clock, 3 clock or float row. But now I am actually not sure, or maybe it is not being defined in a protocol itself that if A is high, then there is a liberty for a B should be high at any point of time. And that I would like to verify in terms of the assertion. So how I can do it? So probably I can write it down that A is high. Then here in a window, the important operator that is you need to understand this dollar. This you need to concentrate. This dollar. This dollar says that you have an indefinite time. There is no fixed time. Okay. So in a previous case, the upper limit was fixed that it should go up to 4. But here it can be any point of time. But I am sure that B should be high. If A is high, then any point of time B should be high. If it doesn't happen, then it should give me an error. If I want to verify this particular scenario, then I can write it down like this. When A is high, then B will be high eventually starting from next clock cycle at any point of time. Okay. So for that, it is being written that dollar. So in dollar, it suggests that it will go till end of the clock and it will verify. So whenever the clock is running, till that point, it will verify that whether the B is high or not. Once A is being high. Okay. Okay. So again, moving ahead with another sort of assertion that we would like to verify. Okay. So this is the same thing probably that is we have seen that read and write signals should not be never be asserted together. So there is a one way that you can write down in terms of the property where you can define it is a property and you can assert the property, or whatever is being written inside the property that you can write down directly over here. So one, it is the same thing. Now the same thing you can write down in terms of the sequence. Okay. So in a one sequence you can define a event on a request and another sequence is acknowledgement. Probably this is the same example that we have seen previously. Okay. So in a one sequence I am talking about request, in another sequence I am talking about the acknowledgement. So this is same as request is asserted, then I want that acknowledgement should be asserted in a 1 to 2 clock cycle. So that means it is same thing is that I am considering as a request and then in a through did operator 1 to 2 acknowledgement. So this is same thing if I write down in terms of the property, but this I define as a one sequence and this I define as a another sequence. So actually means okay. I hope you are following me. Okay. Now different operator with a sequence. Now this is also very interesting. Now this probably we have talked about this. That first part is has delay is for a number of clock event that we know that A has 1B, that means A must be true, and on a current clock tick the B on the next clock tick should be 1. So it is in terms of the has n. So n can be anything 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. If I want to define in terms of the window, then that is the third option. The second part is very important, that's *1. Okay, *1 is basically used for a define some sort of repetition. Okay, so star operator is basically used to define some sort of repetition. So there may be a case that I would like to write it down. Something is being written like this. A has 1 B, then after B we have a square bracket *3. Okay, whenever it is written in a square bracket *3, then it defines this is a repetition. Okay, so A has 1, then B. For B, it is *3. That means for a B, it would be a repetition. And then has 1 C. Now, if you look at this particular scenario, then which is equivalent to A hash S1B, hash S1B, hash S1B, and then hash S1C. Okay, I hope you are following me. This is just for this particular case. It is a repetition. This is for a repetition. So here it is defining as a repetition. So hash S1B. This is repetition. So this all together, whatever is being written, this all together is a repetition for a 3 times. So here hash S1T 1 time, hash S1B 2nd time, hash S1B 3rd time. So that is being written by a star. Okay. So this way the repetition can be also defined in a simpler way, with a more compact way. Now there can be another case that whole sequence I can write it down. So probably just go below that. A hash S2B. Then whole is having a star. And that is important. Here it is a bracket, round bracket, and whole bracket is having with the star. So that means A hash S2B, A hash S2B. In between you have a 1 dot. Similarly, you can write it down like this. This whole sequence can be star 1, 2, 3. Now this is a window. This is a window for a repetition. What it suggests that it can go up to 1, it can go up to 3. So what is the meaning of that? This is suggesting that A hash S2, it is 1 time. A hash S2B, that is 1 time. A hash S2B, A hash S2B, that is 2 time. A hash S2B, A hash S2B, A hash S2B, that is of 3 times. In between every time a delay of 1 clock cycle. So this is being connected with this 1 clock cycle. So this all together you can write it down in this compact way. Okay. So star 1, 2, 3. This suggests the like a similar way that we have seen is a timing window. This is a window for a repetition. Okay. So I hope you are following it. As I said that this all syntax that you need to understand that it is there. Okay, I think there are few questions. Sorry, I just realized it right now. I think Aniruddha is asking something that, sir, in all 3 cases, the assert is posage of the clock. If that necessary, are there any use cases of property and assert with different signal, or can we use no at positive edge? Aniruddha, I am not sure that probably I have observed it right now. So you are talking about which particular slide? Can you mention it in a chat box so that I can go back to that particular slide?
Sir, I was talking.
Yes, Aniruddha, maybe you can write down your slide number because I am not sure that for which slide you are talking about.
Can you hear me, sir?
Actually, when I go to a slide mode, then probably I am unable to check the chat box. Probably if I share my screen, then probably it would be difficult for me to go over a chat box. Maybe this is in all slides. Okay. Let me again understand. In all these cases, the assert is at posage of the clock. If that is necessary, are there any use case of property and assert with different signal, or can we use no at the posage of the clock? See, Aniruddha, when I write down at the posage of the clock, then what I am intended to do this, I am intended to evaluate this at the positive edge of the clock. Okay, so that I would like to do it. Now probably I am defining inside my property only that this has to be evaluated at the posage of the clock. But if probably your design is that where all the event is basically occurring at the positive edge of the clock, then probably you can write it down writing this posage of the clock. Because if in a design, if it is synchronous at the posage of the clock, and if at all any event that is being occurring, because whatever we are writing in terms of the assertion, that is nothing but a event. So you can avoid at the posage of the clock if you have a knowledge of a design. Okay, but that is depending whether you are writing this assertion as a designer or a verification engineer. Now, the hard fact is when I do a verify any particular design, then I don't have an axis of a code. I only have an axis of a specification. Okay, so whatever the specification is with the designer, the same specification is with me as a verification engineer. Okay, so I am not sure about the design, whether in the design it is being done or not, because whenever you are getting a design, then that design is in terms of the compiled version. Okay, so compiled version in the sense is it is simply like a IP core. If somebody has used a IP core in your Xilinx Vivado, or maybe it is in ISE, then probably in a IP core you can provide your input and you can provide your output, and the functionality of that IP core you can access. But what is there inside that IP core, how it is being designed, that is unknown to you. Now similar thing is for a verification engineer. For a verification engineer, how the design is being done, that is unknown to you. Only thing is you have this specification. That this specification says that at the post edge of the clock, it should happen. Now whether the designer has considered or not, that is not in your end because it is not visible to you. So as a verification engineer, to ensure that whatever assertion is being written, that should be evaluated at the post edge of the clock. Okay, because I am unknown of the inside the design, whether it is at the positive edge of the clock or a negative edge of the clock. That's why I would like to define during my verification only that this should happen at the positive edge. I hope Aniruddha, I have given you the answer. The simple answer is because you need, as a verification engineer, you don't know how it is being written as a designer. Okay, so because of the design is a black box for me, so that's why I would like to mention it over here. Okay. Now Hirani Gaurav is asking, sir, if sequence 1 wasn't there, then D would be checked for a low state every third clock cycle. I think you are talking about the one of the slide. I am going back to that. I think you are talking about this slide. Okay. So for this particular one, now if you look at that, then if sequence 1 is not there, okay, then for D, the assertion of D is being verified after every 2 clock cycle. But now if the sequence is not there, if sequence 1 is not there, then what is the use of this assertion? Then you are not talking about any condition or relation checking. See, assertion we are talking about when the relation is there. Now you can check it, D is not asserted. Now SS2 delay. Now SS2 is always is with respect to some point of time. Okay. Now if you just remove sequence 1, then I am not sure that then what is the need of writing this assertion. You are just checking that D is not asserted or not. So there is no relation. Okay. So there is no relative kind of thing that I would like to do. Assertion basically I am using when I would like to go for some sort of relation checking. Okay. That means whatever happens on the left hand side, with respect to that, I would like to check it on the right hand side. If there is nothing happens on the left hand side, then right hand side is nothing but my simple condition checking that I can do anyhow at any point of time. Then I think there is no need to go for this concurrent assertion at all. I hope I have given you the answer. So always in an assertion, when I talk about that, I am talking about some protocol where I am talking about some sort of relation. I hope I am making some sense. I hope I am making some sense, Irani. Okay. So for a assertion, left hand side and right hand side both are important. If there is no left hand side, then there is no operator like your overlap, or there is no implication operator. Then only you are talking about right hand side. Then probably there is no need to have a assertion according to me. Probably. Just think about it. Okay. Now Abhishek, A1 to B. Is this work as an infinite loop if condition not met? So Abhishek, means you have pointed out the right thing that it will check for a B till the clock exists. Okay, but if your clock stops and this event doesn't occur, then it will throw you an error. So what it suggests that if A is high, then B should be high at any point of time during your clock. But if your B is not high at all, then it should be error. Okay. So for a time period, of course, this dollar suggests the infinite. That is not finite time. For B, it will look for as long as clock is exist. So infinite in the sense that till the clock exists, it will look for this particular scenario. I hope Abhishek, I have given you the answer. Okay, so that dollar is till the clock exit, and till the clock exit, that I consider as the infinite time. Till the clock is running, I will verify for this particular scenario. Okay. I think GPS JV. Sir, in slide 19, is HSS1 is default clock cycle delay for a star operator? Yes. Okay. So whenever I am talking about the repetition, see, I am talking about the repetition. So repetition, that means it is with respect to time. So repetition after one clock cycle. If it is being in a same clock cycle, then I am not considering as a repetition. Repetition is always with respect to time. Okay. So that's why here, whatever you are asking, the answer is when I am having this repetition operator, then always between these two repetition operator, I have a this HSS1. It should be there. Okay. Because if there is no delay, then it is constant B. See over here, if it is not HSS3, if it is not star 3, if I am not writing them, then the meaning is A, HSS1B, HSS1C. That means B is 1. And then one clock cycle C is 1. But when I write down star 3, then what is the meaning of this? D is high for a C. If I am defining in terms of the clock, and let's say that in a first clock cycle this is high. Second clock cycle this is high. B is high. Third clock cycle B is high. Fourth clock cycle B is high. And then I am talking about C is high for a fifth clock cycle. If I am not writing this, then the meaning of this is like this. When there is no. Then the meaning of this is, sorry, here then it should be 3. A is high, then one clock cycle B is high, and then one clock cycle delay C is high. Because of this star, now I am considering that this star is there. Okay. Now because of this star, I am considering that for this second clock cycle, third clock cycle, and fourth clock cycle, all these clock cycle B is high. So this is just to differentiate that. I hope I have given you the answer. Okay, thank you. So far so good. Then we can move ahead. Okay. Now, again, a dollar operator that we have said that extended to window to a finite but unbounded range. Okay. Why I am talking about finite? Because finite is basically till the clock exists. So that is the meaning of A, C. Now, here in this slide, one thing you need to observe that I am not writing HSS1. Okay. Sometimes also I am writing like this. Now here in between, whenever there is a space, all the space you need to consider it is HSS1. And I am writing A, B, 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 C. So in between, so A then space B. So whenever there is a space, you need to consider HSS1B. So sometimes you will find out in some literature, the assertion is being written like this only. Okay. So when there is a space, you need to understand that there is a delay of clock. Okay. So when there is a delay of clock, then you need to identify as a space. So only space will define now a clock delay. Okay, I hope you are following me. What I am trying to say that the meaning, the meaning of this is same as A has one, B has one, B like that. So has one, B is not written, only space is defined. So sometimes in a literature you will find out only space, but that space itself suggests that there is a delay of 1 clock. Okay, so that you need to understand it. So this is the way actually in a verification industry people would like to identify, because it is the same thing. So now no need to define. The space only will define that it is has1 B delay. Okay, now another important thing is in a assertion there are two important things, which is a go-to repetition and non-consecutive repetition. Okay, so now what is the meaning of dash? Okay, so just try to observe these two scenarios. So when I am writing out the go-to repetition, then what is the meaning of that? A has one, again with the square bracket I am writing a repetition. Okay, but here instead of star, if you observe that here there is a different operator which is somewhat similar to your overlap operator, but that is written in terms of the square. So always whenever I want to define a repetition, then I will use a syntax square in assertion. So now here what it says that A has one, then for B this is being written 1, 2, 3. Before that there is some sort of overlap operator. Overlap operator 1, 2, 3 has 1C. Now what is the meaning of that? The meaning is that A is high. Similarly last thing is C is high. But in between your B can be high from 1 time to 3 times. Okay, so you just observe that A is high, C is high. Now again in between there is a space, so you need to consider that all this space is indicating of has one delay. Please, okay, try to observe that this is the meaning of a space over here. Now what it says there with this go-to operator, that B is high, but whenever B is high, then it can be from 1 time to 3 times. Now if you observe that A is high, C is high. In between 2 times B is high, 1 time B is high. Now in between there is a sequence that where there is a B is not high. But that's okay for me. But what I want that when A is high and last thing is C is high, in between B can be high. It can be high for a 1 number of time, 2 number of time, or 3 number of time. If you observe it over here, then ultimately here B is high for 2 number of time, here it is for a 1 number of time. I am okay with that. As long as it can be of 1 number of time, 2 number of time, or 3 number of time, I am happy with this. Okay, so between A to C, the B is high for a 1, 2 or 3 number of times. Okay. Now this is basically go-to repetition. Now there is a similar repetition which is a non-consecutive repetition. That is also similar to this. But if you see that there is only one change. Here the operator is equal to. If you write down equal to operator, then it is a non-consecutive repetition. Here when you use this, then it is a go-to repetition. Now here also the meaning is same. That B can be high for 1 number of time, 2 number of time, 3 number of time. But the only difference is whatever the last event is there. So A is high, C is high. But before that, it is not necessary that B should be high. Here it is necessary that B should be high. Here when I use a go-to or repetition, then what it means that when C is high, before that the B should be high. But when it is a non-consecutive repetition, it is not necessary that before that the B should be high. Okay, that means What is the meaning of that? When C is high, before that, one clock cycle, I am talking about. In non-consecutive repetition, before C, the B could be deasserted also. But in between A to C, if you observe that, 2 number of times, 1 number of times. B is high. But before C, B could be deasserted also. But here when it is a go to repetition, then from A to C, B should be high. But before C, there has to be a compulsory condition that B should be asserted. Then and then C is asserted. That means this sequence, before that B should be asserted. Here it is not compulsory. Here it can be allowed not B or B also. If it is B, then simply you need to write down it is with the go to repetition. If it is not B, then you need to write it down with the non-consecutive repetition. So this is just a difference. I hope you are getting. Okay. So the difference is before C, whatever the B is there, that you need to take care. This before this, what is the condition that you need to consider? If it is not asserted B, then non-consecutive. If it is asserted B, then it is go to repetition. As simple as this. Okay. So let's move ahead with some more sort of assertion. Repetition. So I think now probably we can simply skip this. Otherwise, probably I would like to know that what I can write down for this. Property P, posage of the clock A, then it is a overlap operator, has S1B, has S1B, has S1B. So if I want to write it down with the repetition operator, what could be there? The compact form of this assertion. I think there has to be something over here on a right hand side of the overlap operator. Okay, that you can write it down. So it could be like this. A has S1B star. So what is the meaning of that? Has S1B, has S1B, has S1B. Okay, which is similar to this. Has S1B, has S1B, has S1B. That is the 3 number of time. So that I am writing in the compact form with a repeater operator, square bracket star 3. Okay. Now go to repetition. So go to repetition also we have seen that. So just example is being written. Is used to specify the signal. A will match the number of times the specified, not necessary on a continuation of the clock. So A is high, C is high, B is high. B is high can be for a 3 number of times at any point of time. So I think now you can go to it. Okay. Another thing that you can write it down in SVA method. SVA stands for System Verilog Assertion. Okay. So this is System Verilog Assertion short name that is being written as a SVA method. Now $rows. Now what is the meaning of rows? Usually rows and well, there are 2 keywords. Whenever something is written with a $, okay, so that is a system task. That is the same as in microprocessor. If you go through in a microprocessor or maybe even in a C, whenever something starting with the $, then we are considering that is a system task. Okay, so over here also the same thing is applicable. The $rows, I think somebody, very good. I think you have given the answer. Okay, so $rows is a applicable when there is an event, but when there is an event, then the value goes from 0 to 1. Whenever the value goes from 0 to 1, I am considering that it is a rising, or maybe it is written as a rows, and when it goes from 1 to 0, then it is defining as a falling. Okay, so what I want to say that when it is 0 to 1 transition, then I am defining that as a rows, or maybe it is a rising, or whenever it is 1 to 0, then I am talking about it is a fall, or maybe it is a falling edge. Okay, so whenever there is an event, So event is whenever there is a change in a signal value. So you usually we are talking about the signal. If it is in terms of the bit, then it can be changed. Then it can be changed from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Only two possibilities there. When there is an event considered to be a change. So when there is a change, then it can be 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Only this possibility. So when there is an event, then either rose happen or fall happen. Okay. So what it says that it is considered that whenever I am considering as a rose, then rose Boolean expression or signal name returns the true if least significant bit of the expression is changed to 1. Otherwise it returns to false. Okay. Now it can happen that over here A can be multi-bit. Let's say that I am defining A as a 1 down to 0. Okay. Then how it will consider for the rose and fell? Then I am considering that A is 0 0. Now it is 0 1. So that means I am talking about the least significant bit. Bit has been raised. So 0 0 to 0 1 हुआ. That means कि ये मेरा LSB हुआ. वो LSB 0 to 1 हुआ. अगर A मल्टी बिट है, अगर A सिंगल बिट है, if I am defining bit as a then there can be only change from 0 to 1. But if A is multi-bit, then I am talking about the LSB. If there is a transition in a LSB from 0 to 1, then this particular sequence is being evaluated. Okay. Now same thing is happen to a falling. So fell is the same. So fell is a return where least significant bit is goes from 1 to 0. I hope you are getting this. Okay. When it is a multi-bit configuration, then it could be for a LSB only. Okay. Because rising and falling, I am talking in terms of the bit. When it is an array or a multi-bit, then it is applicable to only LSB. If LSB change from 0 to 1, then I am considering rising edge. If LSB change from 1 to 0, then I am considering as a falling. Stable. Now there is something that I would like to know about the stable. That means A is not changing. In a previous case, we are talking about A is changing. If A is changing, then of course it is a bit. So bit will change from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. But now something I would like to check it whether A is remain stable or not. Okay. Then there is a keyword which I can write it down, $stable. So $stable Boolean expression or a signal name. So returns true if the value of expression did not change. Otherwise it returns false. If it is changing, then there is an error. If there is no changing, because I am interested in, it should be remain stable. So that means A is stable. If A is remain stable throughout all the time of the positive edge of the clock, then this my assertion is true. If any particular positive edge A is changing, maybe 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, it doesn't matter. But A is changing. At that time, I am considering that this assertion is false. That means it should give me a error. Now, this is something interesting. $pass. Now, I would like to go back to my clock cycle and verify some event. Okay. So what I would like to do that maybe presently B is high. Now just observe this property. What it says that in a second line. What this says that B is high. What this says that B is high. Then 2 clock cycle before A was high or not. So I came to know that at the present clock edge B is high. Now I would like to go back and check that whether previous 2 clock cycle A was high or not. Okay. If I want to verify that, then I can define this particular keyword $pass, where first argument is signal and second argument is number of clock cycle. That means how many clock cycle back I need to go. So which provides the value of the signal from the previous clock cycle. Okay. So this suggests that positive edge of the clock when B is high, then with the overlap operator $pass A2. That means what I am trying to do, I am I am checking for A and I will go back to 2 clock cycle before and then I will verify that that is 1 or not. So what is the meaning of that? I will go to 2 clock cycle before and I will verify that A is high or not. Okay, this you can write it down in another way also. Okay, this is similar to like this. A is high, then after a 2 clock cycle delay, I want to check it, B is high. Now this is another way around. From this left hand side to right hand side I am moving. Now I am going back. कि नहीं B अगर high है, then the same scenario I want to look at. कि A high था कि नहीं 2 clock cycle में. तो ये जो दोनों हैं, वो similar thing verify करते हैं. But लिखने का तरीका अलग है. Okay, sometimes it may happen that instead of moving ahead, I want to go back and I want to check it. So here the similar thing is A is high, then and then after 2 clock cycle I need to check B is high. So other way around, B is high, then in a 2 clock cycle before that I would like to check that A was high or not. So these both things are similar, but it is the different way of writing. Of course, it will check the similar what consider a protocol. It is verifying the similar behavior. Okay, with these two. I hope you are following me. Okay, now pass construct with the clock gating. Okay, now this is similar to previous. But here I am defining one condition more. Okay, so here the same thing. If you look at this, B is high, 2 clock cycle before that A was high. But that is applicable only and only when C is valid. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? What I would like to do कि पहले का केस था वही है, पर इसमें ये एक C और ऐड हो गया. वो C आपका क्या है कि you can consider that is something as a enable signal. When this is enabled, then and then I need to verify this. Otherwise I do not want to verify. So that means what it will do, when B is high, it will go back to check before 2 clock cycle whether A is high. But that could be verified only and only when C is valid. If C is not valid, then this assertion will not be verified. The only thing is here by introducing the C, I am verifying that if C is 1, then and then this condition matters for me. Otherwise, I don't care of this. Okay. So, okay. Now, some built-in system function that I would like to know. So this is also very important. One hot expression. So one hot expression checks that only one bit of the expression can be high on any given clock edge. Now if you remember yesterday when we start, then at that time we talk about the half adder. So for a 1 bit adder, full adder. So for that we have identified it that 4 inputs are important out of 8. If I want to verify a full adder with the minimum number of scenarios, then 4 scenarios are important. All 0, all 1, where any input 1 is 1 or when any input 1 is 0. So that means out of 3, if 1 is 1, 2 are 0, or maybe out of 3, 1 is 0, 2 are 1. So whenever I am doing a randomization, I want to ensure that whether my 1 bit is 1 or 2 bit is 1. So that is also can be possible. So one hot, what it will do? One hot will verify that whether out of this, whatever the random bit is generated. Okay, that means let's say that I am defining A, which is of 8 bit. Okay, now when I define A as a random, then it will randomize the value. Then for A, the value is being generated. So maybe whatever the value is being generated 8 bit, out of that I want to verify that whether the 1 bit is 1 or not. So that is meaning of 1 hot. Okay, 1 hot 0 is just opposite. Checks only 1 bit of the expression can be high or none of the bits can be high on any given clock edge. Okay, then is unknown. Unknown, that means it will evaluate for x and z. If for an expression, if x and z occurs, then it can be evaluated. However, there is a hardly use of is unknown. Count 1. Okay, this is important. So as I given you the example, if I define a as a 8 bit and I will randomize it, then in a randomized value of a, how many ones are there? Okay, so that I can count out with the count ones expression. ठीक है, तो a की जो वैल्यू जनरेट हुई है उसमें कितने नंबर ऑफ वंस है? ओके, बिकॉज फॉर मी व्हाट आर द इंपॉर्टेंट, अगर 8 बिट की वैल्यू है a, तो उसमें a की सारे 0 वो इंपॉर्टेंट है, सारे 1 इंपॉर्टेंट है. फिर 8 बिट में से एक 1 है, एक बिट में से 2 1 है, 8 बिट में से 3 1 है, like that. Those are the important sequence that I need to verify. So if I need to verify and I need to count that how many ones are there inside that random number, then I can use this expression. Now there is another way to do it, is a disable. So I can disable my assertion by writing a simple command disable if reset. So what is the meaning of that? This is that if reset is high, then this particular part is disabled. That means the assertion will not be evaluated. If reset is high, here we are considering that reset is active high. Reset is active high, that means at that time reset will perform its functionality. So जब भी reset 0 होगा, so that means at that time it may be considering that a case that कि सारी रजिस्टर की वैल्यू A, B, C की सारी वैल्यू 0 हो जाएगी. ठीक है, तो I want to verify that A is high after 1 clock cycle. B could be high in between 1, 2, 3 times, and then C is high. Sorry, this suggests that B is high for 3 number of times. So A is high, C is high. In between, B could be high 3 number of times. Now this has to be evaluated only and only when reset is deasserted. Disable if reset equal to 1, that means कि अगर reset 1 हुआ तो इसका कोई मीनिंग नहीं. ये तभी इवेल्यूट होगा जब रिसेट डीएक्टिव होगा, that means reset 0 होगा. अगर reset 1 हुआ, so this assertion will not be evaluated. Okay, so this also I can so I can enable the assertion and disable the assertion by simply writing such kind of stuff. Disable if reset is active. That means कि मेरा assertion disable हो जाएगा जब मेरा reset active होगा. This is the simple meaning of this particular writing. I hope you are following me. So probably with this, the assertion part I have completed. Now I would like to move to a next session, which is a coverage. But maybe I can take now maybe 5-minute break, and then maybe we can start with the coverage.